The moment Flora stepped into my living room, the whole air changed. She did not need to shout or wave her hands. Her presence alone carried danger. She was tall, dark-skinned, and had sharp cheekbones that gave her a cold beauty. She wore a fitted red dress and black heels that clicked against the tiles as she walked. She smiled faintly when her eyes met mine. "Good evening, Bankole." I swallowed hard. "What do you want?" She tilted her head slightly, still smiling. "You already know. I just came to pick up what belongs to me." Nachi moved closer to me, whispering, "Brother B, this woman looks mad. We need to call police now." Flora heard him and laughed softly. "Police? My dear boy, police cannot save you tonight. Not when I already paid them to look the other way." My stomach turned. I glanced toward the kitchen where Cherish was hiding. I could hear her soft sobs echoing faintly. Flora turned in that direction too, smirking. "She is here, is she not?" she said quietly. I did not answer. One of the men with her stepped forward, tall and muscular, a thin scar across his forehead. He said, "Madam, should we search?" Flora nodded slowly. "Check the rooms." Panicked, I stepped in front of them. "Wait, do not touch anything. This is my house." Flora sighed, raising a brow. "Bankole, please, do not make this ugly. Just tell me where she is. I do not even want to hurt you. You are an innocent man who fell in love with the wrong woman. It happens." I clenched my fists. "Then leave us alone." She chuckled. "Leave you? My dear, that woman owes me millions. Do you think I will walk away because you are protecting her?" Nachi picked up his phone secretly, trying to dial the police, but one of the men spotted him and snatched it. "If you try that again, boy, I will break your hand," the man hissed. I felt trapped. Flora moved closer to me, lowering her voice. "Listen, Bankole, I will make you an offer. Bring her out peacefully, and I will forget your name was ever connected to any of this." My heart pounded. I could feel sweat dripping down my neck. I wanted to scream, but my mouth felt dry. Then, from the kitchen, I heard a small sound, the clatter of a dropped spoon. Flora turned sharply. Her smile disappeared. "There she is," she whispered. She motioned to the men, and they began walking toward the kitchen. I did not think, I just acted. I grabbed the stool by the counter and swung it at one of them. The stool hit his shoulder hard, and he fell with a groan. Nachi grabbed a bottle from the table and smashed it against the other man's arm. The room exploded into chaos. Flora shouted, "Get her!" Cherish screamed from the kitchen, "Bankole!" I ran toward her. She was backing away, terrified, clutching a small kitchen knife. "Stay behind me!" I shouted. Flora reached for her purse, pulling out a small black gun. "Do not test me, Bankole!" she shouted. "I am not here to play." My blood went cold. Nachi ducked behind the sofa, yelling, "Brother B, she has a gun." Flora aimed it straight at me. "Step aside," she said calmly, "or I will make sure your cousin watches you die." Cherish whispered behind me, "I am sorry, Bankole. I am so sorry." And in that moment, I realized how deep this had gone. This was not just about money anymore. It was about control, about power. Flora took one step closer, the gun steady in her hand. "Last chance," she said. "Move." Then a loud knock echoed through the house. Bang, bang, bang. Everyone froze. Flora turned toward the sound. A voice shouted from outside, "Police, open up." Flora's face twisted in anger. "Who called them?" Nachi raised his hands. "I swear, not me." Before anyone could react, Flora fired one shot into the ceiling, bang, then bolted toward the back door. Her men followed instantly. "Stop them!" One of the officers shouted from outside. The house filled with shouting, heavy footsteps, and flashing lights from the police vans pulling up. Cherish dropped to her knees, shaking. I knelt beside her, holding her close, both of us breathing hard. "It is over," I whispered. But I was wrong. It was far from over. Because as the police cuffed Flora's men outside, one of the officers walked up to me and said, "Mr. Bankole, you need to come with us too." I blinked. "What? Why?" He showed me his phone screen, messages, transactions, and account details linking my name to the fraud network. "You have been flagged as an accomplice," he said. Cherish gasped. "No, he did not do anything. It was me." The officer shook his head. "You can both explain that at the station." I looked at her, speechless. This woman I tried to protect. This woman I loved. This woman who brought danger into my life was now the reason the world would see me as a criminal. They put handcuffs on both of us. As they let us out, neighbors watched from their balconies, whispering. Cameras flashed. Cherish turned to me, crying. "Bankole, please forgive me." I said nothing. I just stared ahead as they pushed me into the police van. The flashing red and blue lights painted the night sky, and I realized that love can build a man or destroy him completely. As the van drove off, I caught one last glimpse of Flora, sitting calmly in the back of another car, smiling at me through the window as if she had already won. And maybe she had. The road to the police station felt longer than ever. The sirens screamed through the night, but inside the van, it was silent. The only sound was Cherish's quiet sobbing beside me. Her hands were cuffed, her face buried in them. I stared at the metal bars in front of me, my mind spinning. Everything I had worked for, everything I had built, my business, my reputation, it all felt like it was slipping away. When we got to the station, the officers dragged us out roughly. Flashlights blinded my eyes. One of them said, "Take them inside for questioning." They pushed me into a small room with a flickering bulb. A cracked table sat in the center. 2 chairs faced each other. A fan hummed weakly in the corner. The air smelled of sweat and despair. A female officer entered with a file in her hand. She looked calm but sharp, the kind of woman who had seen every kind of lie. "Sit down, Mr. Bankole," she said. I sat. My wrists hurt from the cuffs. She placed the file on the table and opened it. "Your name came up in a fraud case linked to multiple bank accounts," she said. "You moved over 10 million naira in the last 2 weeks. Can you explain that?" I shook my head quickly. "Ma, I did not move any money. My system was hacked or someone used my access. Please, I am innocent." She stared at me for a long time. "Who had access to your laptop?" I hesitated. "Answer the question," she said. "Cherish," I whispered. "My girlfriend." Her eyebrow rose slightly. "The same woman we picked up with you?" "Yes," I said softly. She nodded slowly, as if she already knew. Then she stood and left the room without saying a word. Minutes later, I could hear voices outside. Someone was shouting, "Cherish. Please let me talk to him," she cried. "He does not deserve this. It is not his fault." Another officer shouted back, "Keep quiet. You will talk when it is your turn." I pressed my forehead against the table, trying to breathe. Then the female officer came back. She sat down, placed a recorder on the table, and said, "Mr. Bankole, for your own good, you need to tell me everything. If you are innocent, this is your only chance to prove it." I told her everything. From the first day I met Cherish at church, to the night of the fake hospital story, to the money that disappeared. I told her about Flora, about the call, about the threats. Every word poured out like I had been holding my breath for months. She listened quietly, writing notes. When I finished, she sighed. "You seem sincere," she said. "But sincerity does not clear bank records." I clenched my fists. "So what do I do now?" She looked at me. "Pray she tells the truth." Hours passed. Then they took me out of the room and led me down the hallway. I could see Cherish sitting on a bench, her hair messy, eyes swollen from crying. When she saw me, she stood up quickly. "Bankole, please. I will fix this. I promise." Before I could answer, an officer pulled me away. They pushed me into a small cell, cold, dark, and damp. A metal bucket sat in one corner, and 2 other men lay on the floor asleep. I sat down slowly, staring at the wall. My chest ached. In that moment, I thought of my mother. What would she say if she saw me like this? Her son, the one she always bragged about. My Bankole, the good one. I felt tears burning my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Minutes turned into hours. The cell was hot and quiet except for the soft snoring of the other men. I closed my eyes and prayed. God, please, if I ever helped someone from my heart, remember me now. Do not let my goodness destroy me. Just when I was about to drift off, I heard footsteps. The metal door creaked open. Bankole, a voice said. I looked up. It was Detective Ifeoma, the same female officer who questioned me earlier. She looked tired but alert. Get up, she said. My heart jumped. Am I free? She shook her head. Not yet, but I think you will want to hear this. They led me to her office. Cherish was already there, sitting on a chair, hands shaking. When she saw me, she broke down crying again. I told them everything, she said between sobs. I told them it was Flora. I told them I was the one who used your account. I froze. You confessed. She nodded. Yes, I cannot let you go down for what I did. Flora used me too. Detective Ifeoma watched her carefully. She says she can lead us to Flora's hideout, she said. But we need your cooperation too. I frowned. Why me? Because, the detective said, Flora does not trust easily, but she trusts Cherish. And Cherish says Flora is expecting a call from your number. I looked at Cherish. She looked back, pleading. Please, Bankole, help me make this right. My stomach twisted. I did not know what to believe anymore. Was she truly sorry, or was this another trap? But before I could answer, Detective Ifeoma's phone buzzed. She looked at the screen, frowned, then said, It is her. Flora just texted Cherish. Where are you? We need to finish the job tonight. Cherish's voice trembled. She thinks I escaped. Detective Ifeoma looked at me, her eyes sharp. We are going to use that. You will call her from your phone, and you will set a meeting. That is how we end this. I hesitated. And if it is a trap? She smiled slightly. Then we walk into it prepared. Cherish wiped her tears. Flora will never suspect anything if I am the one calling from his line. I felt my pulse quicken. The room suddenly felt smaller. This was it. The only chance to clear my name or lose everything for good. I nodded slowly. Let us do it. Detective Ifeoma leaned forward. Good. But remember, once she agrees to meet, you follow my instructions exactly. No mistakes. Cherish looked at me, whispering, I am sorry, Bankole. I did not reply. I just stared at her handcuffed wrists and thought about everything I had lost. And as the detective handed her my phone, I could not help but wonder, was I walking into my freedom, or straight into another lie? The night was thick and quiet, the kind of silence that made your heartbeat sound loud. The plan was simple. Cherish would call Flora, arrange a meeting, and the police would follow from a distance. Detective Ifeoma had everything set. A tracking team, 2 undercover officers, and 1 unmarked car. But even with all that, something in my chest did not sit right. I had trusted Cherish once, and it nearly destroyed me. Now I had to trust her again, this time with my life. Detective Ifeoma handed her my phone. When you talk to her, she said, keep your voice calm. Make her believe you are alone. Do not mention police. Do not mention Bankole. Cherish nodded, her hands trembling. Yes, Ma. The detective signaled me to stay silent as Cherish dialed. The call went through after the 3rd ring. Flora, Cherish said softly. Where have you been? Flora's voice came sharp through the speaker. I told you to disappear, not to go on vacation. I had to lay low, Cherish replied quickly. Police were all over the place. They think I ran away with Bankole. Flora laughed coldly. You mean the fool who thought he was in love? You used him well. He made it easy. I clenched my fists so tight my knuckles turned white. Detective Ifeoma's eyes flicked toward me, warning me not to speak. Cherish continued, Flora, listen, I still have something that can help us. His 2nd account. I found it. He does not know it exists. Flora paused. 2nd account? Yes, it is clean. No police can trace it. But I cannot move the money from here. Meet me at the usual spot. I will bring the details. Another pause. Then Flora said, the usual spot? At midnight. You come alone. The line went dead. Cherish dropped the phone, shaking. She will be there. Detective Ifeoma smiled slightly. Good. We will go ahead of her. Bankole, you are coming with us. Me? I said, startled. Yes, she said firmly. She knows your name too well. If she sees Cherish without you, she might run. I nodded reluctantly. My stomach churned with dread. At 11:30 p.m., we were in the car heading toward the meeting point, an old warehouse on the outskirts of Lagos. The air was heavy with rain clouds, the sky dim and gray. The warehouse looked abandoned, its rusted roof barely holding together. Detective Ifeoma gave her team final instructions. 2 officers hid behind crates near the entrance. One stayed in the car with a radio. She turned to us. Cherish, you will walk in first. Bankole, stay near the door. No sudden moves. Let her talk. Once we have her on tape admitting the scam, we move. Cherish nodded nervously. Yes, Ma. I watched her step into the dark warehouse, her footsteps echoing softly. My heart pounded like a drum. Minutes passed. Then, a faint light appeared deeper inside, headlights from a car. Flora arrived. She stepped out gracefully, dressed in black, her face unreadable. You really have courage, Cherish, she said, her voice calm. After all the trouble you caused. Cherish swallowed hard. I just want to fix things. Flora tilted her head, smiling faintly. Fix? You cannot fix betrayal. She moved closer, and her tone changed. Where is Bankole? Cherish froze. He is not here. Flora smirked. You think I am stupid? He is always near you. Suddenly, she raised her gun and pointed it toward the shadows. Come out, Bankole. I stepped forward slowly, hands raised. Flora, you do not have to do this. She laughed. Do not have to? You ruined everything. Do you know how many months I planned this? Detective Ifeoma's voice came from behind her. Drop the weapon, Flora. Flora turned sharply. Ah, the policewoman. Always showing up at the end like a movie hero. She grabbed Cherish, pressing the gun against her head. One more step and she dies. Cherish screamed. Please, Flora, do not do this. Shut up, Flora hissed. Detective Ifeoma raised her gun. Flora, there is nowhere to run. The place is surrounded. Drop it now. For a moment, no one moved. The air was so tense I could hear my pulse. Then, in one fast motion, Flora pushed Cherish aside and aimed at me. The gunshot echoed through the warehouse. Bang. I stumbled back, feeling the heat graze my shoulder. Pain shot through my arm. Bankole, Cherish screamed. Flora turned to run, but before she could take another step, Detective Ifeoma fired once, clean and precise. Flora fell. The gun clattered across the floor. Everything went quiet. Cherish crawled to my side, crying. You are bleeding. I groaned, pressing my hand on my shoulder. It is okay. It is not deep. Detective Ifeoma's officers rushed in, securing the scene. Ma, she is gone, one of them said. I looked at Flora's lifeless body. For a moment, I felt no anger, just sadness. A brilliant woman who used her mind for evil. A woman who ruined lives and still smiled doing it. Cherish sobbed beside me. I did not want it to end like this. Detective Ifeoma put a hand on her shoulder. What matters is that you told the truth. You both did. They took us to the hospital first. My wound was cleaned and bandaged. I sat quietly, staring out the window as the night faded into dawn. Cherish came to me, her eyes red. Bankole, she said softly. I do not expect forgiveness. I know what I did cannot be undone. But I will spend the rest of my life trying to make things right. I looked at her for a long moment. You hurt me, I said quietly. But you also saved me tonight. I do not know what to feel. She nodded, tears falling again. Then feel whatever you must. I will carry the rest. Weeks later, I was cleared of all charges. The investigation proved Flora had used my company for laundering money. My accounts were restored, my name cleared. But something in me had changed forever. Love, I learned, is not always gentle. Sometimes, it is the weapon that teaches you who you really are. I never saw Cherish again after the trial. They said she moved away, started working with a foundation for women like her, those tricked into crime by people they trusted. One morning, I got a letter. No name, no number, just words written in neat handwriting. Bankole, thank you for saving me, even when I did not deserve it. You were my light in the darkness I created. I hope you find peace. Cherish. I folded the letter and smiled sadly. Her love was a scam, yes, but maybe, just maybe, her regret was real. And in the quiet of that morning, I finally let go.